Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today's video is continuing the series about race in Spain and what it's like living in Spain and different aspects of that whole topic. So all I'm doing right now is responding to the comments that I get and making videos based on those topics. So if you're liking the video, go ahead, hit the like button, because I'm just bringing you what you asked me for in this series here. So we're going to tackle housing in Spain, because I know a lot of people might be thinking about maybe retiring in Spain, or they just think that they could do their career. Maybe they work online or something like that, and they think Spain has a better quality of living, or maybe they've heard something about it's very affordable in Spain. So they're looking for more information about that. So let's get right into the topics. Aspect of Spain, and probably part of the appeal of coming here, is the prices. Because if you're coming from North America, if you're coming from Canada, you're coming from one of the big American cities like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Boston, something like that, you know the prices are crazy. It's getting ridiculous out there. And a lot of people are like, hey, I'm not trying to deal with this. Maybe I could find a better cost of living somewhere overseas. So Spain is very attractive for this reason. Same situation for British people in London or Germany or wherever. Spain is very attractive because of the cost of living. So I'm going to get into the good news. So the good news is the cost of living is true. It's very cheap compared to some of these other economies to live in Spain, as far as real estate. And in one of the big cities in Spain, or maybe not the biggest cities, because the biggest cities are Madrid and Barcelona. So those cities are going to be a little bit more expensive, a little bit more like the prices you would see in Berlin or something like that. But as soon as you get outside of those cities, the prices are very, very attractive, very affordable. You're able to find a one-bedroom apartment for like 500 euros, more or less. And this is a very good deal compared to some of the other cities in Europe where, this doesn't exist. And when I say 500 euros, I'm talking about not a place in the suburbs. I'm talking about a place that's right in the center of the city. It's still possible to find that in many different parts of Spain, as long as you know where to look and you're persistent. So that's really good news. Also, the weather is very attractive for people who, they come from somewhere that it's snowing right now, just really rainy type of weather. And it's a lot milder in Spain than it is in many parts of the world. So with that being said, the prices are number one attractive thing about Spain. I would say the second thing about looking for a place here in Spain is the rights. If you're here in Spain and you just want to get your feet wet, you don't know anything about the culture, and you're just trying to rent here to begin with, there are very strong renters' rights in Spain. So I'm going to give you an example. If you were to come to Spain and you see an apartment that you like, you sign a contract for that apartment, you would only be committed to the apartment for a year. Let's say you have a 1-year contract for an apartment in Barcelona. We'll use that as an example. So that 1-year contract is actually a 6-year contract. It's actually a 6-month contract, because even though it's a 1-year contract in Spain, the renter's rights say that any contract can be canceled within 6 months, after 6 months. So let's say you get to Barcelona in March, and what is it? Hold on. April, May, June, July, August, September. So when September rolls around, let's say you're like, it's too hot here or whatever. You're just really not feeling Barcelona and you want to leave. All you would have to do was give 30 days notice. So you would have had to done that in August, 30 days before September, and said, look, this apartment is not working out for me. I'm going to leave at the end of the month. I'm going to pay you and I want my deposit back. They have to honor that, because that's what the law says in Spain. So not being forced into a long-term commitment is very attractive reason to come here if you're thinking about, maybe a longer-term stay in Spain. Now, with that being said, it gets even better. So let's say on the flip side, you come to Barcelona and you love it. Your apartment's right in the center of the city. You got a lot of things to do and, no issues whatsoever. But you're worried about, okay, after the end of the year, what's going to happen? Is my rent going to go up? How does this whole thing work in Spain? So the good news is, in Spain, at the end of that 1 year, your contract will automatically convert into a 3-year contract. This is every contract in Spain, in an urban area, because of the law that they have. So at the end of that year, you're going to be paying the exact same thing the following year. So this is 2020, let's say. 2021, you're going to pay that same amount. 2022, the same amount. And then the next year, 2023 or whatever, is when you would, they could possibly renegotiate and give you a higher amount. But for those 3 years, you're locked in at whatever you were paying previously. So that's really good if you're in a city like, coming from Los Angeles or London or Paris or wherever, where I'm not sure exactly what the laws are there. It depends. But, sometimes after 2 years or even after 1 year, they want to raise the rent on you right away. So one good thing is they're not going to be able to raise the rent on you right away in Spain. So you can kind of get comfortable for a little bit when you come here. And that's just for renting. Now, as I said, if you weren't liking it, after 6 months, you can just get up and leave, and there's no penalty. They can't say, well, you have to pay 6 more months for the rest of this contract. That's not going to be an issue at all. Okay, so those are the positive things about renting in Spain. So now we're going to switch to the negative things about renting in Spain. So one of the negative things is discrimination. Now, discrimination exists all over the world. It's not just a Spanish thing. It's not just an American thing. It's everywhere. There's different kinds of discrimination. There's racial, there's age discrimination. There's discrimination for kids. Some apartments, they may not want you to have any kids in there, which, is illegal in most parts of the world. But there's different ways that they can get around that law, which, you probably noticed already if you have any experience with renting in different parts of the world. Now, one thing, discrimination is nationality that happens in Spain. There have actually, not long ago either, there have been ads that have gone up online on different websites where they have housing offers or whatever, and they will say on it specifically, no foreigners. Now, this is the exception to the rule. Don't expect this to be something you're running into every day or something like that, but it does exist. There are definitely some renters who maybe they had a previous experience with some immigrants from whatever country. And from that point on, they said, no, I don't want people from that country, or they don't want anyone who's foreign. They just want people who are Spanish. So I see where they're coming from. I'm not saying that it's right, but, this is the mentality that some people have based on, previous bad experiences, or maybe it's just straight up discrimination. It might not be based on anything. They might just feel like, look, I want a woman. That's all. I only want to rent to a woman. They might feel like I only want to rent to a student. That, you know what I'm saying? They might feel like I only want to rent to, who knows, a German person. Maybe they think a German person will pay more or will pay on time. So there's always going to be some kind of discrimination or stereotypes in a person's head. They may not act out on it, but it's a factor here just like it is in many places of the world. With that being said, language is another discrimination factor here in Spain. So, for example, you might see an ad online that you like. It's the perfect place, perfect price, perfect neighborhood. All right, so I'm going to call this ad and see, what they're saying. When can I arrange to see this place? So you call on the phone and they might be like, hold on. You say, hola, whatever, I'm interested in this place. And they hear the accent and they say, ¿de dónde eres? Where are you from? And you're probably like, what does this have to do with anything? But sometimes the conversation can end right there. If you say you're from a nationality that they don't like, click. That happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to other people. I've read reports online. So that's something to be aware of. And maybe they think your accent is Latin American. They don't like Latin Americans. Maybe, they just don't like people who are from even a different part of Spain. I know it sounds crazy, but they may have, some kind of prejudice against somebody who's from a part of Spain who speaks another language. So yes, language is going to be obviously a giveaway before you even see the apartment or before you even have the opportunity to see the apartment. Because a lot of times when people put ads for apartments or housing or whatever, they'll put in it, I only want to talk over the phone. So that's one way that they can screen you and kind of hear where you're coming from and what your background is. And it's not illegal to do that, as far as I know, because it seems to be a practice that I say is pretty common here, when you're looking for housing. If you have Spanish down, that's definitely going to help you, because a lot of the people who you're going to interact with, especially if you want to get a really good deal and pay a fair price for housing, they may not speak English. I wouldn't expect them to, unless you're in a really big city, or if you're going to go directly through an agency. Now, I'm going to speak briefly on agencies. So the way it works here in Spain most of the time is, if you go to an agent and they find the apartment for you, let's say it's an 800 euro a month apartment, they're going to ask you for 800 a month as their fee. They're going to take 1 month. They call it, I forget the word that they use for it, but anyway, it's 1 month of whatever you're paying for rent. The property manager or the company that helps you, they're going to want that. So you're going to be paying first month's rent, 800. You're going to pay 800 to whoever helped you find the apartment, and then you're going to pay 800 deposit. So that's 1 month deposit, 800, 1 month for the agency, and then 1 month of your actual rent. So they would want that, you would need to have all of that ready to go the day that you sign the papers. If you don't have that, don't even waste their time. Don't even waste your time, because you're not going to get the place if you don't have these things. Another thing that they want is a guarantee, which is going to be difficult for you if you are a foreigner. If you're not from Spain, if you don't have a Spanish bank, one thing they do in the Spanish system is they have their bank guarantee, that you will make the payments each month. And this is something that I guess it exists in America too. It's like, okay, I want to see how much you were making the last 3 months from your job. And then based off that, they can say, okay, he has the ability to pay, or he doesn't have the ability to pay. So I think I covered it for the most part. Oh yeah, so I want to say this before I go, that the prices are increasing. So the prices people were paying 4 years ago or even 3 years ago on the market, expected to continually go up and up, because that's all I've seen, is it go up and up, and the economy is strong now. So people aren't desperate like they might have been during the crisis a few years back. So be aware of that. Another factor is Airbnb. Airbnb is a big factor because a lot of the prime locations in Spanish cities are being converted into Airbnbs. So the property owners really aren't trying to rent as much to people who want a long-term stay, who want to stay for a year, 2 years, when they figure, hey, I can just rent this place out on Airbnb and make a ton of money every weekend. So yeah, these are some things to be aware of when you're in the market here in Spain. If you're looking at housing, whether you're an Erasmus student or if you're looking to retire here and possibly stay for a long time. All right, so I think I covered everything. Appreciate you watching. Go ahead, hit that like button. Stay tuned. I will be doing more topics like this. Leave a comment below and I'll get to it as soon as I can. All right.